Hello dear viewers, my name is Lisa. Today I'll be showing you some of our new time scheduling features in BICsuite and schedulix. With them it's very easy and manageable to amalgamate several calendars by combining different intervals. For our example, we are assuming that our company has branches in Hamburg, Berlin and Munich. As well as the national holidays, each branch has its own public holidays. A job should only run if all the branches are working, that is, if there are no public holidays in any of the federal states. We will schedule a second job so that it will always run if at least one of the three branches is working. The concept can naturally also be adapted for branches in different countries. To create the scheduling for these two variants, I work with an interval that defines the weekends and also contains the list of public holidays that apply nationwide. I will also create a separate interval for each federal state with a list of the public holidays that additionally apply in that state. In the first step, I create the interval that is valid for all the states. This is done in the intervals section, which you open from the main desktop. Here I create a new interval with new and name it WD National. To exclude Saturdays and Sundays, under type I select the interval day of week, check the boxes Sat and Sun, and then define the selection as inverse because I need the workdays. I now insert a new line with append line and select list from the options. Here I enter all the fixed public holidays, such as January 1st, May Day and the Christmas holidays, by entering the months followed by the day. A comma is required before the next list entry. I also enter the year for movable holidays such as Easter and Pentecost. This filter requires the inverse entry as well, so that these days are removed from the list of all days. I create the lists for Munich, Berlin and Hamburg in the same way. And enter those additional public holidays in the list which only apply in the respective state. To make sure that the calendar does actually only contain the workdays for Berlin, I add the filter WD National, and for performance reasons I change the option Select on Months to Day. With these new calendar filters we can now do both tasks. Create an interval which filters out the workdays in all the states, that is, those days which are not a public holiday in any state, and a second one that still runs on workdays in one of the states. Let's start with the interval at which all the federal states are working. I'll call it WD All. Here we just have to install all the calendars we want to take into consideration as filters for the intervals. In our case, Munich, Berlin and Hamburg. We can do without the filter for WD National because we have already integrated it in each federal state. Here I set the select to day as well, and then I can save the interval. For the WD Any interval, we need to work with the dispatcher, because unlike the intervals, it allows OR links. For this reason, we will add a line here. For simplicity's sake, give it the name of the respective state, and then select the respective interval and set the active option. With this dispatcher, we instruct the system to start a job if the question, is it a workday in this date, can be answered with yes. In this case, the job starts running. If the answer is no, however, the system looks in the next dispatcher line and so on. For this reason, we also have to set the default dispatcher to inactive, because otherwise the job would start running if it was scheduled for 12 AM. In the next step, we add these intervals to jobs. To do this, I clone the simple job from the examples and move it into the separate folder. Because I need 2 jobs, I clone it again. And first schedule the WD all job by creating a new schedule. The calendar has to be active and the job should always run at 6 p.m. In a new line I add the WD all interval, which I change back to day, and that's it. For the second job, I do exactly the same and link the interval WD any. We can now check the scheduling calendar to see when the jobs will run. At the beginning of May, it is evident that May 1st is a public holiday in every federal state. May 8th is only a public holiday in Berlin, and so only the WD any job runs on that day. You have seen that it's also possible to visualize complex and nested problems with the new scheduling features. Thanks for watching. All the best.